Afternoon everybody, and welcome to Bald and Bearded Garage. Today we're going to work on this 92 Fox body. I have the loving time to run into a bad starter, and we're going to go over that and what you need to do for yourself and what you need in order to troubleshoot or replace the starter. So let's get started with that. Now, a couple of days ago, I went to go start the car and it wouldn't click. Thought maybe it was clutch pedal, the clutch sensor, because this is a manual, and it was not. So if you ever know, all you have to do is when you can't start it off or you hear click, 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 it's usually low battery or the starter's screwed up or stuck maybe and everything. And I was hoping I could just jump it right here. This is the starter solenoid. And what you do is you just go right here after you take that little guy off right here, and you would just do this, and you'll hear a click and engaging of the said starter. And that was just literally clicking, and I can easily show you all what I mean by that. If I can do this one-handed, I apologize. Hope everybody's day is going well, and that should be good enough just to get a click. Let's see. And like I said, I'll change the angle, when you go right here and bridge, hear that? Don't mind the little spark for a second, just make sure there's no gasoline obviously on there. Let's take this off because we need to do that to replace starter. That told me right there that it is the starter. Now, I've been having some battery drain issues, so I was curious and bought this battery tester, and fully charged, after fully charging this, it got to like 3 volts. It was a 540 cranking amp battery I had, and it was 306. And the battery tester over there said that bad battery, replace now, pretty much. So I did that. I was like, cool, maybe that's it, and replaced it. Got this Die Hard from Advance. Telling you where I got it. These are $200 now, where it's ridiculous what the prices are these days. But with that, let's get this. But hooked it up, and I was really excited for about 2 seconds when I jumped it again, and it went just click, click. Now I do have over here, I got a new Motorcraft starter solenoid, and with that, just in case, because it's going to be starter wiring. I checked the wiring to make sure like there's no damage to the wires. You will have that issue sometimes, and I apologize for sweating. It's like 95 degrees in here and 90% humidity. So you're going to see a sweaty bald guy. But I know that there's a solenoid. I had the mini start set up, 92 and up, and some late 91s I believe got it. Went converted to the mini starter. That's what Ford did. But they had to keep these starter relay here, starter solenoid here, because like right here, this is a circuit breaker right here that controls your power windows, power doors, ignition. A lot of things go to it. So with that, you can't really place it, so they have a starter solenoid, and I'll show you real quickly. Here is my CarQuest starter right here. I haven't had any issues with my other one. It's just one of those things where when they go, it's like a fuel pump. You could be driving the next day, and in the morning, turn on, and you don't hear the pump anymore, and it's done. So like I said, when you're having starting issues like that, not even turning over, clicking like that, it can be usually not the starter relay, because you want to hear clicking then if it was damaged in some way. But usually when you jump that, like I showed you with the screwdriver, and you just hear clicking, that is forcing the starter, you know, like kind of like a jump start thing, I guess you consider it, because you're bridging it to force it to turn over. Usually means starter, but since the battery was bad, I was concerned that maybe it just wasn't getting enough oomph in there to get going, but sadly that was not the case. And so, like I said, I bought the battery and I ordered this. I like having a spare starter relay anyways because they can go bad, and they do not sell them locally anymore. They are all delivery. Well, okay, how about this? In my area, I could not find one locally. And my buddy had told me this, that had to buy one also. He had to order it off Rock Auto, and I got this off Rock Auto. Now, Motorcraft, they're not made in America anymore. It's just how everything is, but it's made in Mexico. Don't know if that's better than China. Maybe, who knows, but I've had good luck with the AC Delco, which I don't buy really AC Delco anymore because they literally say they're made in China now. AC Delco used to make, or it might still, who knows, makes a great product, and I always trusted them, but it sucks. But like I said, I got the Motorcraft one. It has a little bit longer studs for more cable, more hookups I need to do, or if I add more power things I need to run off from ignition power, I can add it on, so that's kind of nice without having to do any additional circuit boards or something like that, or things with a fuse board additionally, and put it somewhere in here without getting damaged, moisture or anything. So next is I'm going to show you where the starter is, and that's going to be a lot of fun because if you've Ford owners, especially, don't know with every single Ford and everything. I just know with the Windsor 302, 351s, or how a lot of Ford does it, they don't use shims or anything like Chevy does because they make it all for one, pretty much, the starter stuff, which is nice. But shimming is, you got to shim that thing pretty quickly to work. But this will literally fit in, go. But the problem is that it's pointing this way, the starter, so it is good, and I'll do a better thing, but it is literally about right there underneath this header. So, and there's a top and a bottom bolt. Now I did check for mine, they are size 14 millimeter. I had to replace one bolt long ago, and this because it was just junk. It was stripped up, it was rusted. It took forever to get it out a long time ago when I did a transmission swap. And yeah, so the bottom one, real easy to get to, and you're going to see that in a moment. The top one, you get to have a fun long extension like that. And you can do even longer if you need to, but I'm going to show you where I do it from experience with these. And you're just going to be like me and curse the engineer that, or a team of engineers that said this is a good idea to have it set up this way and not have like an access hole made to get to it. So okay, so right here is your starter. Like I said, this is the bottom bolt, real easy to get to, right? Like I said, it's 14. Now at the top, about angle this way. Okay, look at my finger. That's helping you guys a lot, I bet. But let me see if I can. I really can't get the angle with the camera, but it's like right up there. Now I'll show you what I do with the extension in a moment, but here is your motor mount. I'm going to come up from right here in this direction, in between the motor mount and the header, exhaust manifold, however you want to call it. Do not care, it's up to you. I say exhaust manifold, I'll say exhaust header, I'll say header sometimes. That's just what it is. Now you'll need the universal joint or bit, whatever you want to call this socket thing. Apologize, I'm having a brain freeze on that, brain fart, whatever. But it's going to be very helpful because you're going to come in at an angle down right here. Like I said, you'll be going kind of like this, and literally with that extension, my socket wrench will be right here, so I can break it loose and just go little by little down to break it loose, get it out. And then when I had to put the bolt back for the other guy, if this was focus, or my screen's just being silly for a second, you'll have to put your hand right up here. I usually put my hand up here without, please don't, I would suggest not doing this when the engine's hot ever. But I go up here with my hand and just thread it in with my fingers as easy as possible. With my ape hands that are not going to be easy, but it will happen. So, top bolt, from my experience, has always been the hardest because it gets the most heat from the exhaust right there. The bottom one, not as much. But so what I did was, and just take your time finding it. There's just not really much room for me to give you a good angle, but underneath the motor mount, between the oil pan and everything, you can do that way. That's what I did. That's gave me a little bit better angle. And as you can see right there, if you see the socket right there, I'll try to put it, but right there, the little, you'll see the shiny black and then shiny. That is actually, well, if I do better lighting for you, wouldn't that be great? Right there. That guy right there, that just took some strength to break that loose. It was not easy. I'm not going to ever tell you it's easy. If it is easy, I'm going to be more concerned than anything, because that just tells me it was not tight. So I always do the top bolt first, and then the bottom one, slowly pull it, because you have wires hooked up to it. Make sure before you do it, as you saw, I undid the battery. Just because you don't want it, you're working a tight spot and everything, you don't want, if the wire has a crack in it or something, you can get shocked and everything. And if you're replacing the starter with new wires and everything, just to let you know, the power goes on this node, or this bolt right here, and the small signal wire goes on this one. That's what I saw years ago with, that's how it was wired up when I got this car with the mini start already set up, and when I converted my 88 to it. So just remember, disconnect your battery. It sucks to redo all your media player, CD player, whatever you have in there, cassette player in there. No, it wouldn't be cassette player as much, with digital stuff, that you're gonna have to redo your FM radio stations, all the settings, whatever. Hey, better safe than sorry. That's why I said, if you're going to do something stupid, be safe about it, all right? It's kind of a saying I've told my daughter for years. If you're going to do something stupid, hey, like wear a helmet or something, you know? Because no matter what, we're all going to do stupid stuff. We're going to make bad decisions, but we can reduce the damage. All right. These bolts get a lot of crud in them and heat cycled. Always be careful with not, when it breaks loose and you hit something, well, tougher than you. Well, that was fun, everybody. Some of these bolts took a minute, and I'm missing a bolt already. But that's on the old one, so I don't really care. But this guy was bad. So, even the lock ring for this gear was as loose where it's not supposed to be flapping like that. And I hooked up the jumper cables, and you can test this really easy. Put the ground from the, you know, once you hook up to the battery, put the ground, just clip it on one of the ears, they call it, usually. It's what I've always called them, what other people I know have done. But, so this is where your big cable goes to. Don't worry about this guy that's bridging to the actual motor. This is your solenoid. You don't touch that. All you do is put the, like I said, ground it to this ear, and then just tap it and everything right here, and this will spin that gear. And then this is your signal wire, as I call it. It's the smaller wire, just remember that. It goes to this small nut and bolt, and that will let this go out to engage, and that's what it does. Once you turn the ignition and everything, to that starter solenoid that it's connected to, it will inject the gear into the flywheel and then spin it, and that's how it turns over the engine, okay? So, like I said, I put it on the small guy, it didn't even move, and when I then put it on to the big bolt, it spun it was very weak. And it's a little more wiggly, it's just worn out. Corrosion now. It could be that you could just replace this solenoid. I'm going to tell y'all know about pricing nowadays. The brand new starter with everything was $109. This solenoid was 60 bucks. I found cheapest was 40, but they're all sold out where I was. And I'd rather have a whole new starter than that, especially seeing the condition this is in now. But you can sometimes just replace the solenoid, but it's just becoming to buy the whole thing. I mean, even a performance one like from PA Performance is like 143 bucks, I think, for one that would work on the 302, and I believe the 351 also, same thing. Or you can go with MSDs, but those are like $300 to $400. They're Dynamax, or I can't remember what exactly they call them, but yeah. So when you're putting this back in, you don't need shims. You just got to wiggle it in there, and this gear, let it catch into the flywheel. Bolt it in, but just make sure you hook up the power first. It's much easier to do that. And before so make sure you don't have a dead-on arrival. They are happening more and more often, sadly, from poor manufacturing or remanufacturing of these. Many things in cars. I would say they don't make them like they used to. It's kind of true statement, but just have it on a table, hold it down, like I said, hook it to the battery with the jumper cables, ground it, and then just tap on that and make sure it spins strong, and then tap into the small one just to make sure that it's moving up and down so you know it's functioning properly. And that really is the only way until you install it and try to get it in there. But I'm going to get underneath there, put the new one on. Okay, finally got that in there. One thing I did do, a couple extra things was, and I suggested you put some anti-seize on the starter bolts so I don't have to, break a shoulder to get them off again. Also, on the ends of the terminal ends that you hook up to the starter, I sanded them down. Use a wire brush, you can use sandpaper, whatever. Just clean them up so it has good contact. And now I got that up, got the battery hooked up. Let's see what happens. And it's perfect. So that is awesome. I want to thank you all for watching. We'll get better and better with these episodes. While we get some more experience in person showing. I'll always try to do my best, and if you have any questions, just put it in the comments and like and subscribe. And thank y'all, and have a good night or day, whatever it is right now. Sorry, it's been a couple hours.